We're at the intersection of Holt Road and Aurelius Road in Delhi Township. And behind me you can maybe see the shopping center and the different stores on the intersection, a gas station, 7-Eleven, and so on. Behind me is a church, and this neighborhood back of the camera is one of the problem areas, as well as the outlet to this drain. This drain is called the Green Number 4 drain, and it's now called the Green Consolidated Drain. There were two issues. One, the drainage district consisted of many smaller drains, which we consolidated all into one great big one to solve the problem that we were facing. And the intersection behind me used to be 1.5 to 2 feet underwater every time we had about 3 inches of rain. 2 inches of rain, it generally flooded somewhere around 2 feet, 1.5 to 2 foot. And the neighborhood behind us was consistently flooded on almost all the streets. The neighborhood is to the southwest of this intersection. The church that sits here on the corner is also a church that in the back parking lot of that church, it used to flood and collect water. There's a basin back there that used to collect water. And combined with the many other drainage issues in this area, by consolidating the drains, or consolidating all of them and putting them into one drain, we made a huge effort in trying to control all the water from all the different origins and eliminate the flooding at the same time and provide the kind of relief that we're looking for. The most visible damage that was happening was a series of flooding events that happened to accumulate, I guess you'd call it, on this particular intersection. One, the outlet was too small. Two, we had more water coming in and development over the years that had happened from 1940 on, 1950, 1960. All of this subdivision back here was built. The church was put in, and all of this imperviousness ran more water off than any of the pipes could handle. So we enlarged the size of this outlet. But with the development that took place, we wound up with not enough outlet. I guess the outlet was way too small to handle the volume that was created. So we were stuck. We didn't know how to get rid of the other water. We looked all over for another outlet. We finally found an outlet to the extreme west. And this is one of the few drains in our system of drains that collects and distributes water through 2 different outlets. And this outlet, the original Green Number 4, and now the Green Consolidated Number 4, have anything under 2 inches of water that comes through this area. But once it hits around the 2-inch mark, the rainfall in a 24-hour period, the other outlet kicks in, and the overflow goes out the other outlet to a different branch of the county drain system altogether. So it's unique in that sense that we had to have 2 outlets for this drain. One emergency outlet for high water and one outlet for lower water. And we'll go into the neighborhood and we'll look at the different problems that used to happen there and some of the issues that we had to face. For example, it was not uncommon for this area of Michigan to have 4 inches of rain, 3 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. And usually that 3 to 4 inches of rain came down in about 2 or 3 hours. So it was very hard to place a solution for this kind of water problem, because there was just, the infrastructure just couldn't handle it. So we had to rebuild the whole thing, and we came up with several things. We're very familiar with rain gardens. The solution had to be multifunctional, and lawns. What you're looking at here is one of the ways that we stored millions and millions of gallons of water. The whole neighborhood is filled with these depressions in the ground in front of the houses, and they're all called rain lawns. And it's surrounded with gravel, about 2-inch stone, and then wrapped in a cloth, and then covered with sand, and then covered with topsoil, in which we planted this fall fescue grass, which looks like a lawn, and for all intents and purposes it is a lawn, but it holds water, and it allows water to circulate within itself and come down into the ground and cling to the sand and the gravel that's underneath it, and it holds it there. One of the problems we had with this particular project was when it rained, we didn't have any place to put the water, no place. So one of the ways that we solved the volume problem is by developing these rain lawns, which stretch all around the neighborhood. And they have an overflow so that if it gets too heavy, the overflow in the drain, which is right here in the corner of this particular rain lawn, it has the ability to take water directly into the drain at some point. But not only does this rain lawn clean the water, but it stores and processes the water for cleaning, but it holds on to it, and the volumes is in the millions of gallons of water that is delayed going into the main drain, and then it gets sucked up and trans-evaporated into the air by the lawn. It's just an amazing feature. The engineering team that we put together was Spicer Group Engineering. It was headed up by Deputy Drain Commissioner Carla Close, who did an extraordinary job in outlining the problem, finding a solution, helping me find a solution, and move on to satisfying our need to deal with a 100-year storm event in this neighborhood. All the basements are dry, and the water gets handled and moved around and stored because of things like this rain lawn. So the water is probably about 90% cleaner when it outlets this neighborhood. Now everything in this neighborhood goes to the green drain, which is to the east, except after 2 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, we had installed another outlet. But the surprising thing is that even when you get a 5.5-inch storm, which is, I think it's 5.6 inches, is a 100-year storm event, a reoccurring storm event, and that reoccurring event doesn't leave a puddle anywhere in this neighborhood. We store it, we move it, and we go through 2 different outlets, and it's just amazing to me. This is I think this is one of the most clever drain projects that we've ever done. So nobody ever gets flooded. And now we have multiple tools within the watershed itself to handle the volume. And we have enlarged the size of the outlet, and we've joined all of the internal drains so that they're all the same. And we have now what we call the green number 4 consolidated drain. This is the number 2 outlet. This is the overflow outlet that runs, there's a pipe that runs underneath the ground and winds up in a ditch, and it can carry everything over 2 inches of water that comes through this neighborhood, and it becomes part of what we were talking about earlier when we talked about being forced to have a second outlet. When it rains in this neighborhood, the water literally doesn't go anywhere unless you have some mechanism to control it. Now what we have here is we took a piece of land that was not being used by anybody, and it was owned by the township, and we made it part of the drain by putting a place for all of that extra water to go over the 2 inches. So we have a drain system with 2 outlets and enough storage inside of it to slow the flow of the water down and clean it, so that not only does the intersection of Holt Road and Aurelius Road not flood, but the inside of the neighborhood is completely dry. Everybody's basement's high and dry now. So the combination of rain lawns, second outlet, and increasing the size of some of the pipes around the intersection and the shopping center that was at the corner of Holt and Aurelius Road solved the problem that we were looking for. It took us 2 or 3 years to come up with a solution, but we looked at all kinds of alternatives, and this seemed to be the cheapest, but it also the most effective. And what you wind up with as a second outlet is a beautiful parkland. We turned this into, it's all drain easement, but nonetheless people can walk along the ditch and ride their bicycles or picnic. There's park benches down there. The Parks Department for Delhi Township has done a great job in maintaining it. They do a good job, and it's become an asset to the community rather than an eyesore. So the path system that you see here was created because of the drain. What we wound up with was a piece of property that the township seldom ever used. They couldn't build on it, and it had multiple problems associated with it. But it became an integral part of our solution for the stormwater in the neighborhood. The neighborhood, as you know, we have a lack of an outlet, and we have a lack of volume in the outlet. So this, when we have 2 inches or higher of rain, this ditch that is here, that you see pictures of, and I think within this film you'll have better shots of it. It takes all the water necessary to maintain 100-year protection, 100-year storm, recurrent storm protection within this neighborhood. And you wind up with this beautiful piece of property used by multiple people and used by all kinds of citizens. We just talked to a couple citizens from the neighborhood, and they absolutely love what we did. So it was because of that that this trail system exists today.